So there's been some questions with regards to the hard drive and more information about it and how that works. It's in the multimedia, so if you go to multimedia, it's a selection. Select multimedia. So once you're playing music from the hard drive, you'll see the little icon. It looks like a square with a circle in it that's lit up, meaning that the music is coming from the hard drive. And then that gives you access to your music collection. And if you press the options button down on the controller, you'll get this screen, and then you can go into manage music collection, and it gives you a couple different options. For example, free memory. So I have quite a bit of memory left, obviously. It's a pretty big disk drive. Let's go back in that again. You can turn down Pavarotti a bit. You can delete music. You can back up music on a USB device or restore it from a USB device. So a couple of different options. And then the USB device is the one down in the center console that you would connect to. So several different options that you can do. I won't go over the categories here for the music collection, but it's music search, playlists, additional media, similar titles off the hard disk drive. And if you click on that, it will go and search other songs that you have in your collection that might be related to that particular style of or genre of music. So something else that's kind of interesting. This is for a viewer who had a question about how the door handles work, saying that they lock the door handle whenever they try to open it. So there is a sensor in this area on the inside, and then this is the other sensor here. So if you reach in, it'll unlock it, and then you can open it. If you put your finger here, you could actually lock it by accident. So you want to make sure that when you open it, don't put your finger or hand over this region, or it's very possible it can lock. Here's a little feature I discovered the other day, that even without the car on, if you just walk in and push the little trip button on the side of the display, you can read the mileage and the trip mileage without having to turn the car on. So this is a question that came up for those who have the 2014 to 2016, late 2016 cars that have the 3G cell phone service that has been deactivated. The question is, does the SOS button still work in an emergency? And the answer is, I'm going to hold this down, see if anything happens. And the answer is, I don't hear anything happening. So pretty much no response. So if you have an emergency, don't count on the SOS button in the car helping you. Another interesting thing is if you have the heater turned on, the fan for the heater turned on, let's say setting 3, but then I go to auto, it will default to whatever the setting was in auto for the fan and not automatically adjusted. So you can set it to a different value, but if I turn auto off, it will go back to the manual setting and then non-auto. So I thought I'd explain the mysterious operation of the windshield wiper, because it was confusing for me, and I think it's confusing for other people as well that aren't used to it. So it doesn't work by clicking it up or clicking it down, but it is a number of cycles up and down. So it's 1 up for low, 2 up for high, and then you can go back 1 down for back to low, 1 off for back to off, and then for one-time operation down once, and you get one operation. So the speed can be controlled by the speed button up and down. It just changes the rate that it's going to be going at. So we'll go on the high here. And then we'll go. So I'm sorry, it's the speed of the intermittent on the low. So for auto, let's turn this back off. For auto, the button on the end, you push that and the green light will light up, and then use the rain sensor to turn it on and off based on the weather condition. And finally, there's the rear wiper on and off as well, just by clicking that guy. So that's pretty much what we have. Oh, two other things. Pulling it back is the spray, and there we go, and a wipe. So you can see that just holding it very briefly, it just sprayed and didn't wipe. And the final one, if the car is not on, it's in standby mode, and you hold it all the way up, the wipers will go to the up mode for either changing them or pulling them off the window in freezing conditions. And then to get them back down, turn the car on, and then you can push it back down and they'll go back down. So if you put some items in the passenger seat and just sitting on the top of the seat and start driving around, what will happen, actually you won't immediately get a seatbelt alarm, but after about 10 or so seconds you will start to get an alarm. There it goes. So I have not been able to find a way to turn it off short of grabbing the seatbelt. Do this in the car. You can see once that is done, it will turn it off. So that's the simplest way to get around the alarm going off. There's no way I've found to be able to disable that in the software directly from the menu screen on iDrive. So if you're having heater problems or climate control problems, you can reset the heater unit by turning the knob to the lowest setting to the highest setting 6 times fast. So let's try it and see what happens. Lowest, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,